Howdy, ladies and gents. Voxel here with a quick tutorial, if you can even call it that, or is it like a tip? I'm just going to call it a tutorial for the sake of it, because it's my video. You can't tell me what to do. I have this friend who has this issue, and it really shouldn't be an issue because this is it's quite simple, really. They complain, or were complaining, about characters and how when they design a character, they wanted to design the character with multiple different alternate clothes and stuff, what they would wear, like their day clothes, their work clothes, that kind of stuff. But what they were doing was they drew the character with the clothes on and all that stuff, and then would start over from scratch and draw the same exact character, the same pose, like the same posture, all that jazz. And don't do that, because they ended up complaining that obviously, like, if you started from scratch, there's no way in how that is going to be, you know, exactly the same every time, because what they ended up doing is having, like, it looked similar to the last character they drew, but it would end up looking completely different, or like not consistent, and they got frustrated by this. But like, I have a simple solution, because what I've done here, I've drawn a character that I've conceptualized, like a mechanic, and I've drawn a different set of clothing on a different layer. But like, this is the thing, this is another mistake some people make, or like I've seen other people make, is that when they do what this other person did and got frustrated by it, they'll draw the clothing, and then they'll be like, okay, so time to do the next, and they'll copy the layer over, like the line art layer, and then they'll start again, but they will rub out the clothing and then start over. And then that sometimes leads back, like, some people don't have an issue with this, but like I would, for example, because you'd end up drawing things uneven again, and like having the same issue where it's just not consistent, like you mess things up. But like, how I get around this is that if I just zoom out here, if I just, nope, that's not it. How I get around this is that I make like, when I draw the character, like initially, like with the idea of, like, if it's just like a pose or whatever, like, it doesn't matter, because I don't think you're going to be like drawing, like, I'm talking about like a concept where, like, where they're wearing different clothes. I drew the character, just the character's anatomy. So you have the general, like, muscle shape, like the body shape. That's all you need, because now what you can do is, like, you can make a new layer. Oh, so I made two layers. I'm gonna call this clothes free for the sake of because I already have two other things right there. And you go over to the line art layer, or like the body layer, and you load the opacity on it, and then you go back to the then you go make the clothes layer I just made, and this just lets you, like, easily tell the difference between like where your clothes are and like where your body is, because if you don't, like, you have the issue of like, you might get confused and not know what's going on. So I'm just gonna load that again. Oh yeah, but I don't think you can do this in Photoshop. In fact, you might be able to. I don't know if you can, but like, CSP or Clip Studio Paint has inbuilt rulers. Like, you have perspective rulers and symmetry rulers. I'm going to be using a symmetry ruler for this because it's just, like, easier to make, like, a symmetrical jacket, for example. Like, all I have to do is, you know, put it down the middle, and then, because that's how I did the character initially. Because you see, it's like it's symmetrical on both sides. Like, if I flip the canvas here, it's symmetrical. And drawing a jacket is really easy. And as you can see, like, I'm literally throwing this together in like seconds. that. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna quickly throw this together in QuickTime. Just show you how easy it is to quickly throw like an outfit together, like using this method. Alright. Make some shoes. Oh yeah, and if I almost forgot. Like if you are using Clip Studio Paint, like I am, and you want the symmetry ruler, you can find it over here, like this bit here. Or there's a key command. You just press U on your, or not, press U multiple times. So you get the ruler, and there's a symmetrical ruler here. You just simply place it down the middle, and you don't have to keep placing it down on every layer, because the ruler will disappear. For example, if I click to a different layer, and I mean I've already turned it off, but if you don't have this selected, you will have to put the ruler down every single time, and that means you might misalign the ruler here or there, yada yada. To avoid this, you right click on the ruler, and there's a show in all layers button, and when you click that, it doesn't matter what layer you're in, it'll appear on all of your layers, so you can have that symmetry. This is okay. So I'm pretty much done now with this. I mean, I'll go up and I'll spruce up the lines because they're pretty rough and stuff, like to make them more in line with these. Yeah, these are rough as well, but they're you know, they're cleaned up. What I'll typically do now is I'll create another layer underneath this, and I'll make it white. Like, if you're adding color to your sketches, just use color instead, and basically you will go over, like, it'll cover up the line art underneath, so you won't like see the anatomy. So like, I'll quickly just fly through this, and I'll actually, I should be doing this with the ruler on. I'm gonna remake that layer so I don't have to. Wait, what was that? Yeah, with the ruler. Only rub out the lines you need though, because obviously I got this, like the crotch area. That has to stay, because if I rub that out and then I like re-enabled the, like I put the opacity back up, it would look funny. Because the character wouldn't have a crotch. So I'll quickly do that. Yada yada yada. So when you do this on the lines you've drawn clotheslines. I'm dying today. So now after that you raise the opacity and voila, you have clothes. And lastly, I'll typically throw the clothes into a folder, so then I can toggle them on and off. That's my simple method on how to draw the same character with different clothes in Clip Studio Paint. I wouldn't mind feedback on this, like for like future tutorials or whatever, because I haven't exactly done stuff like this before. So like, you know, support and like criticism is much appreciated. Thank you for watching.